ओके सो ईट स्लीप ड्रिंक क्रिकेट में स्वागत है। बहुत दिनों के बाद बड़ी खुशी हुई अभिजीत को देख के। बड़ी खुशी हुई भास्कर को देख के। भास्कर, ये बताएं कि आप इंडिया में तो नहीं है, तो ऐसा कौन से देश में है जहाँ से दिन है रात है, कहाँ पे हैं आप?
I'm in the west coast of USA, पोर्टलैंड करके एक शहर है in Oregon
हम्म।
state.
हम्म। मेरा साला
So,
वहां रहता है।
wow, in Portland.
ऑरिगन में रहता है, हाँ। नहीं
Oh,
रहता।
wow.
So,
जाओ मैं।
Rajiv,
वो अचार अचार का डब्बा भेजा था, आप जरा दे के आ जाना उसको।
Mhm.
so Rajiv, the big thing to
हाँ।
learn is when you are in US, this is how you
हाँ।
should reply. So if I am asked, where are you from? I'll say I'm in
हाँ।
the Western Ghats of India, roughly 4 hours
हाँ।
from Mumbai
हाँ।
Port. Like that you
हाँ।
should answer.
या
You are in the absolute center of India, and it's called the
I'm in the
biryani
Deccan
capital of
Deccan
the world.
Plateau. I'm in
Like
the
that you have to
Deccan
Deccan
answer.
Plateau.
Plateau, yeah.
Deccan Plateau.
Yeah,
The weather
yeah,
is pretty decent. Okay.
Mm.
You can't. It's like the London rains,
yeah.
you know. ऐसा कुछ, चलो बढ़िया है।
Yeah. ऐसा आंसर देना
Mm.
चाहिए.
चलो अच्छा है। सो अच्छा है, हमने वार्म अप कर लिया। अब वार्म अप
Mhm.
करने के बाद
हाँ,
मुद्दे की बात पे आ जाते हैं, ठीक है?
Mhm.
क्योंकि इसको
हाँ,
होस्ट करेंगे तो फिर लोग कहेंगे कि क्या बकवास चल रहा है। बातें तो साले
अच्छा.
क्रिकेट की करते हैं, ये कहाँ से आ गया करके, फिर चलो बढ़िया है।
हाँ,
सो पहला तो आई आई सेट द कॉन्टेक्स्ट हियर। पहला हमने यार एक बहुत बड़ी चीज हमारी तरफ से भूल कह सकते हैं। आई मीन वी डिड नॉट डू अ प्रीव्यू ऑफ इंडिया वर्सेस इंग्लैंड। सो एक भूल है। सो आई थिंक मतलब वी आर ऑल ऑक्यूपाइड। यू कैन सी भास्कर हैविंग कॉफी, वो सुर करके आवाज तक आ रहा हुआ ऐसा कॉफी पी रहे हैं। और वो
मैं पी रहा हूँ।
इंडिया है, इंडिया
मैं
इंडिया
पी रहा
में
हूँ
भी।
मैं।
हाँ,
इंडिया इज
ठीक है।
अलाइव एवरीवेयर.
हाँ, चलो बढ़िया है। तो सो द थिंग इज वी डोंट डू अ प्रीव्यू, वी जस्ट गो रिव्यू बाय रिव्यू ऑफ टेस्ट मैचेस एंड वी गो हेड। सो आज का फर्स्ट टेस्ट इज द रिव्यू ऑफ द फर्स्ट टेस्ट। सो what we also thought is ki the result did not go as anticipated as what we want. Maybe it was anticipated, but the last day we did not anticipate it. It was a brilliant blockbuster test match, very good advertisement for test matches. क्योंकि फिफ्थ डे ऑलमोस्ट आई थिंक द लंच टू टी सेशन जो हुआ था ना, उस पे ही पता चला कि होने क्या वाला, वेयर द मैच इज मूविंग। Till that time, nobody had any idea where the match is drifting towards. So that kind of test match on a fifth day, जहाँ पे सब 3-4 दिन में खत्म हो रहा है, this is really very good. So I'm going to start. So we are going to talk about from the start to end. So which means that selection ठीक से हुआ कि नहीं, बैटिंग अच्छा हुआ कि नहीं, बॉलिंग हुआ कि नहीं, आगे कैसा देखना है, all those stuff. We're going to divide it and then we're going to speak on it. I'll try to chip in wherever I can. The only thing is that we have a lot of topics to cover today because we are not doing a preview, which means that the little bit of preview would happen here only. यहीं पे हो जाएगा, right? So मैं चलता हूँ इस आलीशान कोट पहन के आने वाले मिस्टर भास्कर से ही स्टार्ट करेंगे कि सर पहले तो ये बताएं कि जो फर्स्ट टेस्ट था, एंड अगेन जस्ट टू मेक श्योर वी आर ऑन द सेम पेज, द कॉन्टेक्स्ट एंड एवरीथिंग विल बी स्पोकन ऑन एन इंडियन एंगल ओनली। थोड़ा बहुत इंग्लैंड की बात करेंगे बट एवरीथिंग इज रिलेटेड टू इंडिया, इंडिया के लिए ही बात होगा, राइट? सो भास्कर, आपसे पूछना चाहूंगा, was the selection correct on the first test? Very happy with the selection. What is your thought?
See,
Don't, I
selection
mean, you
more.
can't give the insight अभी जैसे भी आपको लगता है।
See, I think hindsight is always 2020, but ऐसे बोलते हैं, but yeah, टेस्ट क्रिकेट है तो आई थिंक selection ज्यादा कुछ I don't think there's too much to be critical of the selection because this was a team which most likely we all thought this is going to be the team. We can say that probably Abhimanyu Ishwaran deserved a chance ahead of Sai Sudarshan, but for that I don't see much of a problem because people who didn't do too well in this test match like Shardul Thakur, they have contributed to major victories. So I don't see much of like much going wrong in this selection. So I don't see much of ज्यादा कुछ criticize करने की जरूरत नहीं है selection को. Matches happen. India played well, England played better, so they won. Of course, India made a few mistakes, but most of will come back to that. But I don't see too much wrong in the selection, except that probably in place of Jadeja, they could have gone for a more wicket-taking option like Kuldeep Yadav. But for that, I don't see much of anything to criticize as far as the selection goes. Rajiv.
सो आप कह रहे हो कि 5 बॉलर खिलाते थे?
Hmm.
हम्म। Okay, I'll come to that. मेरा थोड़ा disagreement है उस बात पे, but I'll come to that. But so the only point of contention, which because we did not do the preview, that's why I'm asking you this. 18-member टीम था, उसमें हर्षित राणा को भी बोल दिया कि बैठो भैया तुम यहाँ बैठ के जाओ करके. लंबा टीम था, उस हिसाब से बोल रहा हूँ कि still was the I mean, did you think that थोड़ा confusion था सिलेक्शन को लेके?
मुझे नहीं लगता है. और आपने जब 5 बॉलर की बात की तो I would personally would have gone with a slightly different team. I would have gone for another batsman in place of say Shardul Thakur. I would have gone with 3 fast bowlers and a wicket taking option in a spinner in Kuldeep Yadav. That was the format Australia used to use, if you remember. Only thing some of the batsmen would have had to chip in with a few overs here and there. But I think this was quite a decent team. मुझे कुछ ज़्यादा Harshit Rana should have been there in the team, probably in the 18 in the first place. So I think that was fine. I don't see much to criticize in the selection. Rajiv.
Oh, okay, great. So generally, I think we are all in agreement that the selection was not bad. It was in this thing. In fact, मुझे तो ये लगता है कि साई सुदर्शन को जैसे ही select किया, it clearly meant कि वो playing 11 में first test में होने वाला था. That's why this Abhimanyu Ishwaran or anything did not come through, because पहले ही से सोच चुके थे कि उसको लाना है करके. So I think that way the thought process was okay. So Abhijit, मैं आपके पास आता हूँ. Okay, so the whole thing is that there has been a lot of criticism for India, and we will also be a bit critical, obviously, right? But the thing is that there is a lot of positives for India which came out of this game, because हम ऑफलाइन बात कर रहे थे कि ये सिचुएशन हमें लास्ट डे पता चलता था कि फर्स्ट डे पता चलता था कि ऐसा होने वाला है, बट टेकन इट, क्योंकि हम तो सोच रहे थे कि भाई लीड्स में कहाँ इंडिया जीतेगा करके, राइट? So I want you to concentrate what were the positives you thought was there, and second, how with 500s performance of batting, which we thought is the weak link for India. What is your take on that? Batting or Indian positives? What do you think? क्या आपकी क्या उसमें?
Yeah. So first positive I want to say is the fact that we three discuss on these topics, because I think we bring a lot more balance than what I hear or read here and there. Now, in fact, one of the best summary of the test match when the test match ended was, Rajiv, when I read your synopsis at the end of the day. I really liked it. It was very positive, and it's a sport. In a sport, one team will win when one team will lose. This is not like academics ki अगर 100 स्टूडेंट्स सारे क्वेश्चंस राइट आंसर किए तो सबको 100 में 100 मिलेगा. स्पोर्ट्स में ऐसा नहीं है, एक टीम हारेगी एक टीम जीतेगी, ठीक है. नाउ इवन ऑन द सिलेक्शन, what Bhaskar said, actually there was nothing wrong in the selection. How can you fault a selection where your batsman scored 5 centuries and your bowlers created 24 dismissals? When you needed 20 wickets, the bowlers actually created 24 dismissals. You actually cannot fault the selection. थोड़ा 19-20 हो सकता था. I personally also thought that Ishwaran is a domestic guy. He's been through the grind, and he should have been given a chance ahead of an IPL wonder boy Sai Sudarshan. And from Sai Sudarshan's part, I thought that Sai Sudarshan should have, the moment IPL ended, he should have come to England and played that England Lions game and played that intra squad game. It was important for him to acclimatize. अगर वो वैसा करता तो पहला इनिंग्स में वो जो rubbish wide leg side ball को जो टच किया वो नहीं करता वो. So that was disappointing. But then Sai Sudarshan is our future. He's a person which we need to back in the long run. So we cannot default his selection. So again, as I said, there were 5 in our batting. You asked me specifically on batting. Batting, obviously I was disappointed with Sai Sudarshan and Karun Nair, because I think of all the batsmen who played in this test match, and in England it is down to Chris Woakes because he's also a bit of a batsman. The lowest 2 scorers are Karun Nair and Sai Sudarshan, whereas Karun Nair and Sai Sudarshan came in one of the most comfortable positions to bat. Sai Sudarshan first innings came at 92 for 1 or 90 for 1. How many times in his life in a Sena country will he come at 90 for 1 to bat? He royally messed that up. Karun Nair came to bat at 430 for 4 and 287 for 4. So somebody who's waited 8 years for this chance, the minimum he should have done is put a price on your wicket. I will not give my wicket. मैं not out रहूंगा, कुछ भी हो जाए. मैं भले 10 रन not out रहूं, मैं not out रहूंगा. It was not there. He was playing shots like a million. That was very disappointing. He actually scored lesser than Bryden Carr.
Sorry. Karun Nair और इस पे आएंगे साई सुदर्शन पे एक छोटा बिट लेके आऊंगा.
But
आप बस पॉजिटिव
इसके अलावा,
because there is a reason I want to talk about them.
Right. इसके अलावा batting was absolutely perfect. I think Jaiswal needs to improve that he cannot always be a single digit or a century scorer. उसके अगर ऑस्ट्रेलिया में भी आप scores देखोगे तो या तो single digit है या फिर century है. You cannot be like that. You at least in a worst case need to score a 30-40. You know, overseas Sena countries, any overseas series you cannot win without both your openers contributing. KL Rahul का already it has, plus you know Jaiswal dropped 4 catches. So you know if I do a CA का balance sheet, 100 रन आपने बनाया, 4 कैच ड्रॉप किया, तो -200 हो गया, आपने -100. Ideally he should be the first guy who should be dropped from the team if you do a very practical analysis, you know, and you go by that. KL Rahul has already been counted amongst the best Indian openers in Sena countries, so he's been mighty consistent. So you know nothing. Shubman Gill, I had my doubts. You know, Shubman Gill came in with some pressure that he doesn't perform. He in the last 5 years his 2 big innings is one in Gabba innings, which we all know in 2021, and one test versus England at home he had won. उसके अलावा उसका कोई major innings हमें याद नहीं आता. Shubman Gill coming and playing that innings at 92 for 2 is a very big statement. Because Gill can score runs in England. It's a very big thing. And of course, you know, Pant was you know the magician out there. In fact, it is very sad that in a test match, Jaiswal, Pant, KL Rahul and all them, you know, they batted so well, we ended up losing. It was heartbreaking. But then again, at start of the test, you know, we fans need to be realistic. We are white ball T20 world champions. We are white ball Champions Trophy champions. We are white ball ODI finalists. Okay? Test match mein, out of the last 3 WTC cycles, 2 WTC cycles, we were in the finalist. England was 4th and 5th in the last 2 WTC cycles. So, you know, we are a great team. We cannot be winning every match. Okay, so fans need to be matured enough to understand this was a fantastic test match. You know, I will remember this test match longer than some of India's wins. Like, you know, that Ahmedabad, Akshar Patel taking 5 wickets, Root taking 5 wickets, Akshar Patel taking 5 wickets. I don't remember much of that match. I don't remember South Africa mein India were 100 all out, South Africa 100 all out, India jeet gayi wo match. Those matches you don't remember long. You remember matches like jahan 5 din you are at the edge of your seat, you are, you know, screaming, or you are upset, or you are happy, and all. So it's a fantastic test match, and I really loved it. And it's fine, India lost, but these losses will pain the team more, and they will learn a lot out of it. Rajiv.
Good one. I think I agree with you, and you know, so my biggest, so there are 2 innings which I really loved. One was this innings of Shubman Gill. Because being the captain, not doing anything in Sena, and he comes and hits 147, right? So that was wonderful to watch. And then the second one was obviously KL Rahul. That was sublime, यार. मतलब ऐसा beauty, मतलब क्या ही बोले, मतलब बहुत अच्छा लगा मुझे. Anyways, you are right. I mean, it'll hurt a bit.
Cover drives तो एकदम out of the box.
Yeah. Now we'll come to the next topic, and Bhaskar, now the criticism. Slowly, you know, it just comes in. At some point, you have to start looking at what happened. Now, there were 2 things which happened. One was the fielding effort, which Abhijit, you know, touched upon, where he spoke about Jaiswal. तो एक fielding का बड़ा drama हो गया. Second हो गया आपका जो lower order 41 for 7 और 34 for 6 वो एक हो गया. और तीसरा है एक छोटा सा, there is a, you know, when India plays abroad, you've seen many innings where 4th innings mein the job is not getting done. Yeah, you know, so South Africa mein there was a Dean Elgar ne 2 baar kiya tha. You remember in one of the matches even Pant made 100, and that was that famous match when all these guys went to the stump and Virat Kohli jaake South Africa tum aisa kya kar rahe ho, tumhara board hai, some immature talk happened. Then 378 Bairstow and Joe Root chased off, and now this one, you know, there is a pattern to it. 4th innings में कहीं ना कहीं ढीले पड़ जाते हैं हम लोग, right? In all those tests हम 3rd test पे थे, तो हो सकता है हम कह दें कि you know tired हो गए, but ये तो first test ही था भाई, right? So I want you to take up these 3 points. Abhijit, I'll come to you also on the same question. You also give your point on the same thing. So पहले भास्कर आपसे start करूँगा.
See, that's where, if you see, there was a time when first innings 100 used to be given so much of importance in these, especially Australia and England. We never used the word Sena in those days. It was Australia and England with West Indies fading away. So that's why when they used to speak about Steve Wallace, they used to say he has scored so many first innings 100. Because in those countries, it's always an accepted fact that the pitch flattens out towards the 4th and the 5th day. ज़्यादा spin तो होता नहीं है, and pitch flattens out and people play out for a draw. it's the first innings which is more difficult to go through, because that's when there's a lot of grass on the wicket, there's moisture, etc. So isliye, that's probably one reason why we are not able to get those fourth innings. Our fast bowlers are not used to bowling on flat wickets. Our spinners are unused to bowling on spinning tracks when the pitch deteriorates. So वो एक problem है. If you see, Jasprit Bumrah did not take a single wicket in the fourth innings. The number one bowler in the world, probably the greatest bowler of all times, the last 100 years, not taking a single wicket. It is a bit disturbing, because the same thing happened even in the fifth test in England. You remember 2022 when he was I think he was the captain, right? He was the one who was leading that test match, and he couldn't do much. So that's where the issue is. We probably are having problems running through teams on the fifth day. So that's when probably we need to figure out ways, because we had so many runs on the board. We should have made sure that the asking run rate is high, because we should have allowed Ben Duckett to score so fast. That's where I think we had enough runs on the board to just make sure that England is playing out for a draw, not going for a victory. When we knew that England is keeping up with the run rate, we should have made sure that the asking run rate goes to 6-7, and then you attack. With the team trying to play for like a draw, it's easier to attack than when the team is going for a victory on a flat wicket. That's my point. But for that, I think we don't have a wicket-taking spinner overseas. That's a major issue. Ashwin himself was not a great wicket-taking spinner, but Jadeja is like few ranks below Ashwin in terms of overseas. So I think if we want the spinner, we need to go for his bowling credentials rather than just a person who can score 40-50 down the order at number 7. If Jadeja is playing as a batsman, that's totally different. But वो batting भी करेगा बोल के is because he has hardly taken wickets in England. He's been playing every test, और उसका 6 he's probably taken a wicket per test in the last 6-7 tests. उसमें because he took 4 wickets in the Oval, it is looking that way. Or else he's hardly taking wickets in English conditions. Rajiv.
Okay, so Abhijit अच्छा हो गया इन्होंने पूरा complete किया. But I like the point of Jadeja. We'll come to that because what we'll do is at the end we're going to discuss how do you want the second test to appear. So maybe these points can be taken that time. So fielding.
Second test का अलग preview करेंगे. Second test का अलग preview करेंगे 3-4 दिन पहले.
Okay जी. तो पहले तो ये तो बताएं फील्डिंग और इसका फील्डिंग और ये जो the lower order collapse no.
Fourth innings.
Fourth innings they
so I think I think I disagree a bit with Bhaskar here. I think here the coach and the captain have a role. Captain Chalo is a new captain. I think the coach has a role here. I mean, I recall when Virat Kohli won those 2 tests in 2021, and we had to defend some runs in the fourth inning. That 60 overs in hell, and एक और था जिसमें I think 400 करीब का target था. The intensity in the field was a different level. I remember in both those fourth innings of English batting, I think 1 या 2 सिर्फ कैच ड्रॉप हुआ था. एक विराट कोहली ने ड्रॉप किया था और एक शायद सिराज ने ड्रॉप किया था दूसरे टेस्ट में. कैचिंग वाज परफेक्ट, फील्डिंग वाज परफेक्ट. उनका था कि बस so I think this intensity part needs to come from the management. Now I do understand that okay, I'll cover the other point is that defensive line. Now I do understand that these players are just out of IPL जब खत्म है तुरंत तुम बोलो इंग्लैंड पहुंचो full intensity. IPL is a very intense tournament, let's admit it, with the crowds, with the pressure, and RCB 18 साल नहीं जीता and all that. There is pressure in IPL. So जब यहाँ आप जब and all those traveling crisscross across the country, IPL is a very high pressure tournament. तुरंत आप बोलो players को intensity दिखाना will take some time, and that's where maybe we should have taken more of the test specialists just like Ishwar who didn't play the IPL and all that. And I also understand that the gap इतना कम था कि they couldn't do the defensive line bowling. Yes, I remember Dhoni had employed Ishant Sharma to bowl a defensive line. कि आप आउटसाइड द ऑफ स्टंप बॉल करो, मेरे सारे फील्डर्स ऑफ स्टंप पे रन नहीं बना पाएंगे, और अगर एज किया तो आउट होगा. आई थिंक द कोच मे बी शुड हैव concentrated on these things before the test match. They still have another 10 days to do it, but yeah, I think the intensity was missing, and this intensity goes to the tail also. बस intensity क्या होता है कि I will not give up. Okay, I will not let my wicket, I will not be called a bunny, I will not let my wicket be given. मैं खड़ा रहूंगा, मैं भले 5 रन नॉट आउट बनो लेकिन मैं खड़ा रहूंगा. You have to earn my wicket. Imagine if all those batsmen had batted 10 balls more, ये टेस्ट मैच शायद वैसे ही ड्रॉ हो जाता. That's the big difference. And all these lower order batsmen, they came out batting like millions, including Karun Nair, including Shardul Thakur. Boss, you all are making comebacks. You all could be dropped and go back maybe after that you all will need to retire. You all should have put a value on it. These two could be dropped the next time and may not even play for India ever. Why can't you put a value on it? And here I think I will question the management for it, because I know you have Gautam Gambhir ka separate topic, but yeah, I would summarize these would be the reasons. Rajiv.
So I think let me just give a point here. So fourth innings, I mean, I think Bhaskar has covered it very well. So फील्डिंग में जब आपका इतना कैचेस ड्रॉप होता है ना, इट इज स्ट्रेट डाउन टू बेसिक्स, और वो थोड़ा सा ना इरिटेंट हो जाता है आपके लिए. एंड द वे जायसवाल दैट कैच व्हेन बेन डकेट प्लेड थ्रू द स्क्वायर ना, वहां पे आके दैट कैच वाज टू बी टेकन. यार विराट कोहली ने एक इंटरव्यू में बोला था, मैं इतना फिटनेस देखता हूँ कि आई विल रन दैट 1 सेकेंड एक्स्ट्रा ताकि वो कैच मेरे हाथ में लड्डू की तरह है. यू नो, दैट्स द काइंड ऑफ प्रिपरेशन ही इज टॉकिंग अबाउट. दैट कैच वाज देयर, बेन डकेट 98 पे आउट हो जाता तो शायद इस मैच पे कुछ बन जाता, बिकॉज बेन डकेट वाज द डिफरेंस, नॉट एवरी अदर प्लेयर. बेन डकेट वाज द डिफरेंस. एनीवेज विल कम टू इंग्लैंड प्ले दिस थिंग. सो फील्डिंग वाज पैथेटिक एंड मतलब ये क्या कर रहे हैं मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा. मतलब आप इतने दिन मतलब फील्डिंग ड्रिल्स तो हुआ ही रहेगा ना बॉस, तो ये मुझे समझ में नहीं आया. दूसरा यहीं पे मैं बात आता हूँ करुण नायर और इसका. सी आई थिंक साई सुदर्शन is a new player. He may get 3 टेस्ट और 6 innings to play to prove his point. मतलब उसके बाद ही उसको रखना है, ड्रॉप करना है, वो बात आएगा. बट करुण नायर का ऐसा नहीं है, शार्दुल ठाकुर का ऐसा नहीं है. शार्दुल ठाकुर तो खैर अभी फर्स्ट टेस्ट में ही मुझे लगता है ड्रॉप हो जाएगा. बट करुण नायर का तो एक मैक्सिमम एजबस्टन बर्मिंघम में उसको एक चांस मिल सकता है. He is not third test candidate, he is a second test candidate. And Edgbaston में you may get a very, मतलब the wicket may not be suitable, you may get a snorter, whatever it is. So जब आपको मौका मिलता है आप नहीं करते हो. Both the innings he played on the up. आप क्यों खेलोगे बॉस? And why can't you? I mean, don't tell me that the first innings and the second innings you did not know. First innings में 100 रन एक्स्ट्रा निकालना है, second innings में 50 रन और बनाने हैं. ये दोनों बात पता था. And both the times Karun Nair failed. शार्दुल ठाकुर केम एज इफ मतलब वो नंबर 10 बैट्समैन कर रहा है, चलो मारते हैं करके. प्रसिद्ध कृष्णा को ये दिस फेलो हैरी ब्रूक्स फिंगर्स सेज के हाँ छक्का मार के दिखा करके, तो भाई साहब छक्का मारने गए. मतलब दिस इज ऑल, मतलब ये दिस इज लाइक फूल हार्डीनेस ऑफ द मतलब आपको याद है वो फ्लिंटॉफ ने वो टोनी बेस्ट के साथ बेस्ट कम ऑन डू इट करके वो फिर स्टंप आउट होता है या कुछ हो जाता है, यू नो. सो दीज आर वेरी, मतलब मुझे यार कुछ खास लगा नहीं. मतलब आई वाज वेरी disappointed with this thing because these were basics, and you're absolutely right, it goes to management. We'll come to that. Now comes the main focus point. The focus point is Jasprit Bumrah. Now what is happening is Jasprit Bumrah, he proved his credentials, right? 5 विकेट लिया फर्स्ट इनिंग्स में, मैच सेटअप करके दिया 2-3 बार. तो he should have got a fifer in the second day 2 itself मिल जाता था अगर वो कैच ना छूटते थे. उतना सॉलिड बॉलिंग किया. But then he started to taper off. Day 3 was poor. Day 5 was even more poor. ठीक है? I'm not saying he didn't try. What also happened is English batsmen knew where he's coming from. तो वो तो they just played him off. And with the kind of the wicket which was there, उनको इतना डरने की जरूरत नहीं है क्योंकि इतना कुछ खास हो नहीं रहा था. He had to literally bring in a snorter or something like that to get him. तो जैसे हैरी ब्रूक को बाउंसर पर डाला था वैसा कुछ करना था. I mean something extraordinary he had to do. But what is happening is, पहला तो वो बैटिंग में आता है तो बुमराह लुक्स लाइक वो बस बैट घुमाएगा, अगर रन लगा तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, नहीं तो तुम करो. आई एम लाइक द बॉलिंग कैप्टन और द बॉलिंग लीड, आई विल टेक केयर ऑफ इट. बैट्समैन तुम अपना संभालो. ये एटीट्यूड जॉश हेजलवुड में है और पैट कमिंस में, जो पर्थ टेस्ट के बाद बात किया था कि बॉस वो बैट्समैन का काम है, मेरा काम नहीं है करके. दूसरा, he bowled and then there was a major captaincy flaw or a management flaw, you can say, that 70th to 80th over they thought कि 50 रन तक रोक लेंगे इनको, न्यू बॉल में कुछ चमत्कार करेंगे करके. वो चमत्कार हुआ ही नहीं, सीधा 20 रन पे आ गया. वो बॉलिंग ही नहीं किया न्यू बॉल पे और वहीं पे मैच खत्म हो गया. विच मीन जसप्रीत बुमराह इज नॉट बॉलिंग सो मेनी ओवर्स. आप कह रहे हो आप 3 टेस्ट ही खेलोगे, उस 3 टेस्ट में भी जो टेस्ट मैच खेलते हो उसमें भी पूरा ओवर्स कर नहीं पाते हो आप. तो and then this batting thing, I mean, is he fully fit? क्या सीन क्या है? So अभिजीत, मैं आपके पास आता हूँ. Did you feel that there is There's something. And now the news is he's not going to play Edgbaston. Now there is an 8-day gap. You're saying 8 days के बाद वो नहीं खेल पाएगा. वो इसलिए नहीं खेल पाएगा, मैं आपको लिख के दे रहा हूँ. I don't know. I mean, this is the news. For all you know, Birmingham में खेल सकता है. But I'm just saying, अगर वो नहीं खेलता, वो it's because he wants to play at Lord's. So ये.
अच्छा.
Are you getting it?
Yeah, you know,
I'm not criticizing
like
him. I'm not criticizing him.
No,
but
no.
There is an issue which the management is not. I think the communication with Bumrah is not proper. ये मुझे लगता है.
And you know, immediately a question आएगी for cricket connoisseurs like you, me, and Bhaskar. Then why did he play the entire IPL? Why, if he can select India matches, which one to play and which one to not? Why was he not being able to select Mumbai Indians matches? I'll play only, let's say, the first half of IPL, and after that I'll take a 1 month rest. Why did he not do that? So again, there are commercial discussions, many other factors, but yeah, definitely, Bumrah wasn't the best. But again, my heart doesn't come out to criticize the bowlers. As I said, our bowling attack created 24 dismissals. And अभी तुमने बताया ना कि वो पिच में ज्यादा कुछ नहीं करा. That I don't agree. क्योंकि जब हमारा करुण नायर और जडेजा हुआ टेकिंग फॉर द बैटिंग स्किल्स एंड शार्दुल ठाकुर बैट करता है, अचानक पिच में बहुत कुछ होने लग जाता है. पर जब इंग्लैंड बैट करता है तब कोई कुछ नहीं होता है. उसका रीजन है कि बिकॉज यू डोंट टेक योर चांसेस. वंस वी स्कोर्ड 471 एंड आई थिंक ऑन द सेकंड डे इटसेल्फ 3 कैच शायद ड्रॉप हो चुका था. एल्स बाय दैट टाइम इफ इंग्लैंड वर 140 फॉर 4 तो पिच बहुत कुछ कर रहा होता. तब बिकॉज वंस देयर इज प्रेशर कि बॉस अभी तो फॉलो ऑन आ रहा है, ये मैच शायद हम 4 दिन में हार जाएंगे, 150 फॉर 4 टाइप्स हो जाते वो, तब तो फिर वो 4 या 5 शायद होते, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, तब तो पिच वुड हैव लुक्ड वेरी डिफरेंट. सो 5 हो जाते, राइट, 150 फॉर 5 हो जाते इफ एंड ऑफ सेकंड डे तक, इफ वी हैड हेल्ड आवर those 3 catches the first. So this is where and England made us pay for catch drops. Now just back to Sai Sudarshan was dropped at 24. You have made a horrendous first inning score. You have to cement your place. There is Dhruv Jurel sitting, there is Ishwaran sitting, there is Sarfaraz sitting in England. Forget India mein kitne log aur baithe, Ruturaj Gaikwad, Devdutt Padikkal, so many are sitting there. You have just been dropped in 24. Ben Duckett drops early. At 30, he gives another catch. So I again, it comes down to the intensity of the entire team, the fielding specifically. And I think if we had fielded better, if we had showed that intensity, jo teams under Rahane or Virat dikhaya hai, I think it would have been a very, very different. The bowlers would have looked very different. I mean, we are always speaking. Bumrah took 5 wickets. 5 में से तो 2 tail का था. Prasidh Krishna took 5 top order wickets. We are already forgetting. He's taken 5 top order wickets in much lesser over. He's a gun bowler. Why couldn't you give him defensive field? उसके wickets या तो caught behind होता है, या caught in the boundary होता है, या bowled होता है. You give a field according to that. He's hardly going to give you catches in mid-on and mid-off and half. So it comes down to the management, really. Whether Bumrah ka handling, why he played the entire IPL, it is disappointing. We want the world's best fast bowler. He's not IPL's best bowler. He's world's best bowler ever. We want him to play every test match. Rajiv.
Right. To Bumrah's defense, I'll say the first half of IPL he did not play. He came up.
So he didn't play the first half. Okay.
Yeah,
so why didn't he not skip the second half of IPL? When he could have rested. First half खेल लिया होता.
इस पे बात करेंगे. IPL क्या? हाँ. Right. Anyways, so I'm now coming. So we don't have much time. So we have just 10 minutes out. So first I'm coming to Bhaskar. गिल कैप्टनसी पे आप क्या कहेंगे? गौतम गंभीर पे मैं अभिजीत पे जाऊंगा, लेकिन he has only 1 minute to speak on गौतम गंभीर. गिल कैप्टनसी पे आप क्या कहेंगे?
See, Gill's captaincy, it was the first test, so Zada, it's not fair to criticize him so much when India has done so well. Just imagine going into the 5th day.
मैंने criticize करने को नहीं बोला.
350 to win. So I think they created so many catches, so many wicket-taking opportunities that nothing much to criticize. मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ. Except that last day we should not be giving 351 runs. Just imagine the day one, if we had been told that England is going to be chasing 350 on the 5th day, we would have taken it. Even the Indian team would have taken it. So 350 on the 5th day shouldn't have been given on a flat track or whatever kind of wicket. England should have maximum scored, say, 280 for 4 or 280 for 5, and it should have been an easy draw. My biggest disappointment is that we gave away too many runs. We allowed Ben Duckett to score at almost 5.5 and runs per over. उसी में मुझे बहुत I feel really sad that we gave away so many runs on the 5th day. we shouldn't be like allowing them to go for a chase like an ODI game. If you are going for a chase like an ODI game, that's where half the battle is lost, where England is like just chasing like a 320, 330 wala ODI game, just they are chasing. Test cricket, the rules are different. We can bowl different lines. So on one side, if you maybe Jadeja could have bowled 30, 40 overs, just contain. Bowl maiden after maiden, maiden after maiden, and then that's when you see wicket taking opportunities coming through. So that's one factor. Just for the sake of attacking, if you keep attacking and give away so many runs on a flat wicket, I think that's where we lost the game. I still believe that the fifth day, first session is where we shouldn't have allowed them to score so many runs. But for that, I think Shubman Gill will learn. His captaincy in IPL was very good. He's led from the front. He scored a brilliant 100. So I think we are only going to see him get better. Rajiv.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Shubman Gill did what he could have. He will learn from this experience. Yeah, there's no मतलब 5 टेस्ट हो जाने के बाद गिल के कैप्टनसी के बारे में बात करना ठीक रहेगा. अभिजीत जीजी के बारे में आते हैं जो सबसे गालियां खा रहे हैं. व्हाट जीजी डिड इज भाई साहब ने विराट को निकलवा दिया. मतलब ठीक है चलो आई डोंट वांट टू गेट इनटू दैट कंट्रोवर्शियल स्टेटमेंट्स. विराट नहीं है जो भी है ये जो टीम स्ट्रक्चर है जीजी के ऊपर है. जीजी को जैसा चाहिए था सब मिल गया तुमको. एवरीथिंग वाज देयर. नाउ इट इज अप टू हिम टू एंश्योर एवरीथिंग इज डन. नाउ व्हाई डू यू थिंक द कम्युनिकेशन इज देयर इज अ कम्युनिकेशन लैक. मतलब जो बंदे पंत केएल राहुल तक 350 तुम्हारा 320 330 तक लेके जा रहे हो और करुण नायर आते ही मतलब उनको पता ही नहीं है स्लो खेलना फास्ट खेलना क्या करना है. एंड देन द लोअर ऑर्डर तो जॉश टंग को 3 विकेट एक ही ओवर में दे डालते हैं. एंड देन दे आर ऑल्सो सेइंग दैट यू नो दे आर ऑल्सो सेइंग कि 430 का टारगेट था. सो 430 का टारगेट था तो आप क्या मतलब हाउ वेर ही प्लानिंग इट. सो जीजी व्हाट वाज ही डूइंग. आई मीन इज जीजी's पोस्ट ऑन इन लाइन. मतलब क्या आप बताएं. आप व्हाट इज योर थॉट्स. एंड थोड़ा सा क्विक था हमारे पास टाइम कम है अनफॉर्चुनेटली.
Yeah, so Gigi is a very curious case study because white ball, no complaints. He's given us, I think, one trophy, Champions Trophy, so no complaints. White ball, red ball. आप कह सकते हो कि boss he got 2 tough tours of England and Australia, but then you got a very easy tour of New Zealand at home. That should have been 3-0 to India. वो तो हम पिछले 30 साल से वैसे जीते रहते. You couldn't win that. Now with Gigi around, I've seen there's a lot of shuffling. है ना थोड़ा Donald Trump वाला मोरा ये लग रहा ना. रोज सुबह नया decision होता है. Now make no mistake, some of Gigi's wild cards are actually excellent. He picked Washington Sundar for the New Zealand series when there were already 4 spinners in the team, and Washington Sundar finished New Zealand series as the best player for India in that series. He picked Nitish Reddy out of nowhere. Nitish Reddy was a star player for India in Australia. Then making KL Rahul open when he could have asked Ishwaran or Padikkal to open in Australia. He's actually Harshit Rana जो Travis Head को bowled किया, we'll never forget that ball. So and Harshit Rana in one days have been very good. He literally comes in and changes the matches in one days and T20s. So his wild card picks are generally very good. So I have no doubt on that. But on the flip side, there's a lot of disruption around him. I think Abhishek Nair was there. Abhishek Nair is a very loved guy. Suddenly Abhishek Nair is gone. Then obviously 3 of our legends retired, and 2 of them retired in a huff. Ashwin left mid tour. In our history कितनी बार एक player mid tour गया है, mid tour वापस चला गया. एक सिद्धू मुझे याद है और एक और शायद I think कुंबले as a coach वापस आया था. बाकी कभी नहीं हुआ हमारा ऐसा. So obviously he's a bit of a disruptor. His white ball Champions Trophy. Again, Champions Trophy, he took a smart decision not to play Pant. That was also a good move because Pant in white ball is not that great. So he does some right things, but he's doing a lot of wrong things. And first thing is intensity. Intensity, valuing your wicket, defensive lines. Boss, जैसे भास्कर ने भी बोला, Test cricket में you can bowl down the leg side for 20 overs also without giving any run. कोई wide नहीं होता है. या bouncers आप डालते जाओ कोई wide नहीं होगा. But I don't know why he can't do it. But he could be on the line. He could be on the line by end of this series. Rajiv.
या मुझे जो जीजी का सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम लगता है कि उसका कम्युनिकेशन का एक इशू है. वो शायद काफी एंगर लेके बैठा है और बोल नहीं पाता है. एंड दैट इज वाई 3-0 होता है कि ठीक है जाने दो अभी नहीं बाद में बात करेंगे करके. ऐसा नहीं चलता. थोड़ा सा यू नीड टू कम्युनिकेट. वेयर रवि शास्त्री वाज अ मास्टर and now Ravi Shastri is gone. You have to find out another person who can communicate so well. And होंगे सिस्टम में. एंड मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि जीजी नहीं कर सकता करके, बट थोड़ा सा अपने आप को लेके आना पड़ेगा उस लेवल तक. आज उसको ग्रेग चैपल पार्ट 2 कह रहे हैं सारे के सारे. He doesn't deserve it
True,
because
true.
Champions Trophy जिताया ऐसा नहीं है. Let's see. But yeah, after 5 tests, there is a problem. अगर ये result ठीक नहीं किया तो there is a problem. And we all will be behind him. Anyway, so the last part I am coming to is not that I wanted to do a preview of the second test. I just want to see who are your 4 bowlers whom you would pick in the Indian team in Birmingham. Now, let's assume Bumrah plays this because we are 0-1 now. We'll assume Bumrah plays. ठीक है अभिजीत मैं आपसे स्टार्ट करता हूँ.
No, I think this pitch was flatter than the rest, which will get this. Rest of the pitches, may spin will come down. I think third, fourth, fifth test, may spin will be a factor. Kuldeep will be there. Next test, if the pitch has more bite, I'll play the same team because I think the team will be same team means the same bowling attack. The team will be very hurt. And I expect the likes of Shardul. Let's not forget, Shardul Thakur took 2 wickets of just 16 overs. That's 1 wicket, 2 top order wickets, 1 wicket per 8 overs. इट्स अ मैनेजमेंट प्रॉब्लम कि आपने 184 ओवर्स में सिर्फ 16 ओवर शार्दुल को क्यों दिया. और अगर आपको सिर्फ 16 ओवर शार्दुल को देना था, देन व्हाई डिडंट यू प्ले नीतीश रेड्डी हु वुड हैव बीन अ मच बेटर बैट्समैन. सो आई वुड प्ले द सेम टीम एंड सेम bowling attack. The bowling attack I'll play the same one, and I think they'll do a lot better. I have no doubts on that. Rajiv.
Okay. Bhaskar.
Bowling attack only things because if Jadeja is not going to score big hundreds, there's no point playing him. His record in England is very poor. So I would probably go with Kuldeep Yadav, and I might think of playing Nitish Reddy in place of Shardul Thakur just to shore up the batting. And I would probably pick Akashdeep because Akashdeep has been not getting a due. He's not been getting a run. So I would pick probably Akashdeep in place of Mohammad Siraj. I would play Bumrah and Prasidh Krishna. I would continue with them, but probably I'll pick Akashdeep as the third seamer because Siraj didn't look in his. Probably he is on the decline. Last few seasons we have seen that, last few series. So I think that's what I would go for. Batting order, I think there's no point disrupting. So Sai Sudarshan needs one more test and Karun Nair needs one more test. If they fail in the next test match, probably Sai Sudarshan can be kept in the system, but Karun Nair probably has to perform or then he will have to make way. Rajiv.
Yeah. No, I think so. I also feel the same way. Now, if Bumrah is playing, then I will drop Siraj because Siraj is bowling well. He puts in his efforts, but line and length का कोई यही नहीं है, माजरा ही नहीं है, problem है. Prasidh is leaking runs, but I think he's picking wickets, so he needs another this thing, and the management have to ensure कि उसका मतलब runs leakage इतना ना हो, बस वो देखना है. And second, Shardul की जगह Nitish will come because you need to prop up your batting, वरना नहीं होगा. So that's my call. So thank you guys. Thank you for doing this. Yes, Abhijit.
So एक ही point था, if you drop Siraj and all, you are getting too much inexperience in the bowling attack with Nitish Reddy, with Akash.
If Bumrah plays.
But it is still the other thing on the Jadeja point. I should remind that there were 2 easy catches of Jadeja dropped by Pant. He could have ended with 3 wickets this test matches at the minimum.
Let's see. Anyways, thank you guys. Thanks for joining and have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was great. Thank you. Bye.